So it's been a pleasure to be with you today, and I think ag biotech is our best option. And I think what we're looking at is that I think as you work on the farms, you'll see that biotechnology will help save all kinds of things that are important to us. Every ton of soil that's saved through no-till type farming in every field is going to be a great advantage. Every pound of pesticide that's not having to be applied to the crops because we're using biotech is going to be a great benefit. And all of these things mean more dollars to keeping our farmers viable so they can stay alive. So we're looking at, I think, North Carolina becoming, we're not there yet, we're just beginning, a stronghold of research and production for new plant varieties and for expertise in plant oil, starches, and some of the things you folks are already working with. So it's a good opportunity for us to learn from you. And these things are going to drive that critical national defense industry of agriculture. And we are really pleased that we can create the relationship with you folks here in Guelph, Canada, and Ontario. And I think the bottom line for us is that biotechnology is going to help us all move together into a bioeconomy for the future. So thank you for allowing me to be here today and to be your speaker. I look forward to a visit back at some point and continued dialogue with a lot of the great folks that we've already started talking with here. And we're very excited about the opportunities for you and for us. And please come down to North Carolina. Thank you very much.
We have about 5 minutes for questions. Any questions of Gwen? Come on, somebody has to have one. Yes, question. Please repeat it.
Yes, the grant part.
Is there, through the innovation centers or through that model on your third or fourth slide, is there funding for microloans or grants for the farmers to do the alternative crops?
We don't have any direct, through our program, we don't have any direct loans to farmers, but there's like 30 other organizations that do just direct agricultural development and loans to farmers. So all of our loans go to young startup companies to really take that IP to the marketplace. And then our grants, like for the science and education, go to nonprofits. So most of that goes to universities. But we do have, like the Department of Agriculture, that does have microenterprise loans as well as the USDA for farmers. Yes, sir.
Given with the objective on creating jobs,
yes.
and given your visit to Guelph so far, and if you want to create more jobs, what one lever would you pull based on your insights?
Well, you know, that's a really fantastic question, and I would answer you by saying there is no one lever, but there are 3 secrets. And the 3 secrets are things you already know. The one word I used before is collaboration. If you don't collaborate together with as many people as you can, you'll never make it and we'll never make it. So that's a key piece. The other part is supporting education at all levels, because certainly in the U.S. we feel like we're being left behind in education by the other developed countries. The U.S. used to be very high on the list in research development and education development, and we're falling behind. And we need to beef that up. So education is absolutely critical to anything that's science or research based at all levels. And then the other piece is supporting your entrepreneurs and development of those young companies. And do that through all different kinds of programs. So if you're doing those 3 things, you will be successful. There's no question about it. Another question? Yes, Marty.
Yes, is there any coordination with the federal governments in Canada and the United States to ensure that these GMO-type products and biotech products are going to be allowed free access across the border, because each of our governments have all kinds of rules in relation to agricultural products?
Marty asked if there was a program set up between the Canadian government and the U.S. government to facilitate genetically modified type crops across the borders, right? And that's a question I really can't answer because I haven't gotten into that yet. There might be somebody here in the room that's with the Canadian government that can answer that, but it's something that needs to certainly be looked at and is going to be probably very instrumental in developing continued trade between our countries in crops like that, because there's going to be more and more of them that are going to be developed. So great question. We'll have to work on an answer, Marty. Another question?
This will be the last question, but go ahead.
You mentioned agriculture as a national defense industry several times.
Yes, sir.
At the same time, you said that less than 1% of the population is involved in agriculture, which means they're really very small in terms of their vote capital. How did you get that vision of balancing those two?
Well, you know, I think that's a vision that's bigger than I am for sure, because the question was, since we have less than 1% of the population farming, and yet it's a critical defense industry, at least by my estimation, and has been by our government in the past, how do you reconcile the two things together? Outstanding question. That's going to be, again, something that's going to require a lot of education of our elected officials to make sure that they understand both of those two things and that then they help bring those two things together. I think what's happened in the last 10 years is that the world has realized that with bioterrorism and the things that are going on in the world, is that it doesn't matter who you are, there are people that either want what you have or don't like you or don't like the way that you live. And that bioterrorism in various ways has been and probably will be directed towards food supply. And so it is a critical industry. And all of our elected officials and our people that help make decisions throughout any of our governments and throughout our publics need to be aware of those things and educated. So it's up to the institutions like the chambers and the universities to educate the public that these two things are critical for our survival. So it's a fantastic question, and it's something we all need to be doing together, that not just one organization or one person can do.